Hi, thanks for tuning in for another ship spotting video. This is a long one, so I thought I'd do a little bit of an introduction. You haven't seen my face in front of the camera in a while. Today, this video is about two of the United States government's ready reserve vessels. They're classified under the Maritime Administration, MARAD, the Cape Kennedy and the Cape Knox. Now, the Cape Knox has been away for an extended period of time, at least the last couple of months, and she's coming back in today. So we're going to watch her come up the river and maneuver into her berth here on the Mississippi River. And her twin, the Cape Kennedy, who's been at the berth, is going to maneuver off the dock and give her some room to tie up today. There'll also be some other traffic coming through that I'll try and highlight and point out. And then it's a long one, and I won't actually have the two ships tied up together, so I'll follow up with a little follow-up video probably tomorrow. Anyways, without me rambling on any further, let's check it out. That's the ready reserve ship Cape Kennedy, which very rarely moves from its location here in New Orleans, just above the Industrial Canal. Usually she has a dockmate, the Cape Knox, and typically they're rafted up, tied up alongside. But the Cape Kennedy has gotten underway off the dock because here comes the Cape Knox. I don't know where she's returning from. AIS says her last port of call was Charleston. A lot of traffic right now. And these assist tugs are waiting for her to get up here. There she is, just coming past Domino Sugar Refinery. I'll pause until she gets a little closer. She's still a little ways out, but it just looking cool with all this traffic, doesn't it? The Cape Kennedy and Cape Knox are roll-on, roll-off ships, which basically means that you can bring trucks and tanks and equipment and things like that aboard. They have a big stern ramp on the back end of the vessel that you can roll things on and roll things off. They're part of the nation's ready reserve fleet, which means that they essentially just stand by until the federal government decides that they need them, and then they're activated. They're manned constantly by a small crew of about 10 mariners until they're activated. These two ships were built in the late 1970s. I think the Cape Knox is 78 and the Kennedy is 79 as merchant vessels for the Netherlands. And they were acquired by the United States government back in the 80s. Renamed the Cape Knox and Cape Kennedy. And placed in the Maritime Administration's Ready Reserve Fleet. They're about 700 feet long, so there's certainly larger traffic here on the lower Mississippi, but they are impressive. Especially because it's just so rare that you see them underway. They do get underway once a year just to take a little shakedown cruise, but the Cape Knox has been away for a few months. So she was definitely activated and sent somewhere, I'm just not sure where. Oops. Didn't mean to zoom out like that. And for ships that are nearing 50 years old, they're in very nice condition. Certainly kept up very well. And obviously very capable vessels. There, that's no zoom at all. That's about how far they are from me. Well, how far Cape Knox is from me. Now these ones, to my knowledge, are not under the jurisdiction of MSC, Military Sealift Command. They're MARAD, the Maritime Administration, instead. So they don't carry the designation USNS as the MSC ships do. They're not necessarily naval support. They could be. There's some crew out on the bridge wing there. So that right there is that large stern ramp for onloading and offloading rolling cargo. Got their assist tugs, and the Cape Kennedy is leaving them plenty of room up there off the dock. So it looks like the Cape Knox will be coming alongside the pier. Pause and switch over to nitrogen. one's got a name, I could look it up.
What is it?
E.W. Ellefson, I think. Ellefson.
It looks like a ramp up back
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll look it up.
there. It looks like it's being dragged by that tank.
It is.
Is it?
We're thinking maybe she came from a yard. She's got a really fresh paint job on. Maybe she went off to have some maintenance done somewhere. Apologize for the wind, it's a bit blustery here in New Orleans today. And I'm assuming that the Cape Kennedy will stand out there in the river until the Cape Knox is all secure, finished tying up. There's some downbound traffic coming right in between the two ships. Downbound ATB. You can start to just see that ATB coming out right there. The Cape Knox has almost reached their dock location. They're probably only a couple 100 feet below where they want to tie up. So it looks like those tugs are starting to work her in towards the dock now. So this right here is the Cape Knox. This is their docking location. This is the Cape Kennedy, and it's also showing the tugs that are assisting them. That's the industrial canal. So you can see the Cape Knox has slowed down to about 2 miles an hour. Cape Kennedy's just really holding her position there, just enough to buck the current. And yeah, she's working her way into the dock. The rest of this operation is going to be pretty slow. So I think I'll pause the video until both of the ships get a little bit closer into the dock and there's a little bit more excitement. Again, I apologize for the wind. I hope that all this talking I'm doing is audible. Kind of trying to wait for breaks in between gusts. You can really see those stern ramps well now. That whole thing there is one big ramp that can deploy and fold down onto the dock. And you can see just as the Cape Knox has, the Cape Kennedy is just about identical. Apologize for the zoom quality. And they're about 1.5 miles, 2 miles above me now, so getting harder to see. You can see those two assist tugs totally perpendicular to her hull now, just pushing her straight into the dock, coordinating with each other. I'm also watching this on my little tablet there that has the rose point on it that you saw, and it does show an aspect based off the heading that the ship is reporting via AIS. It's not totally accurate, but yeah, they're just about parallel, excuse me, with the dock. Stone Fuels, Madison Stone, pushing a couple of loaded fuel barges up the river. Coming in nice and close. Pretty neat shot there with the two ships in the background. The Cape Knox is pushing in towards the dock there pretty slowly. Showing about a half a mile an hour. On the river we use miles per hour, instead of knots, nautical miles per hour. We use a statute mile instead of a nautical mile, but that's only on the river. And most of the big ships that come in, they still, they're not quite used to that, so they tend to use nautical miles an hour. But the pilots will use the statute mile. You can see that assist tug on the stern there is actually pulling back. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the lines. It might be a little too close. You can kind of sort of see that line leading off the bow of that tug. And she's coming back in now, so she slowed her stern down a little bit. You see a little bit of the quarter of the American Queen there in front of us. The largest steamboat ever built. But I've got other videos about her. This one is about the ships. Let's get you adjusted here. How's that? It's kind of a junk tripod from Five Below. It's kind of hard to adjust sometimes, and it tends to not be very smooth, so I apologize for the jerky motion. I'll pause now until the ships get closer to the dock. This video is starting to get a little long. Here's another neat shot of a tanker about to come into frame, a Norwegian tanker called the Bow Aquarius. Any second now. There she is. There's the bow of the Bow Aquarius. Looks like she's going to split the difference between the two MARAD ships. There you go. Well, I think unless anything spectacular or shocking happens, I'll bring you back once the two ships are back home alongside each other, just to show you how they're usually oriented. But I think the excitement is over. Two helicopters coming in. I bet they're either Navy or Coast Guard. Let's see. Well, that was a nice surprise little treat. What good is a ship spotting video from New Orleans without a good old-fashioned steamboat? And the steamer Natchez is a true steamboat. Coming in just behind the steamer Natchez is the sternwheeler, the Creole Queen. She's diesel powered, but we won't hold that against her. She does embody the look of a classic style Mississippi riverboat. And she was actually designed and launched for the World's Fair that was held here in New Orleans in 1984. And she's been carrying passengers ever since. So you can see just right there is the Natchez, close behind her, the Creole Queen. The Cape Knox has made it into her berth there. She's still getting all of her mooring lines set and everything. And the Cape Kennedy up ahead there, still treading water, just kind of keeping herself out in the middle of the river, waiting for the Cape Knox to be all secured. I'm guessing it's going to take quite a while because they have these large Yokohama fenders that are going to hang off the hull of one of the two ships to keep them from damaging each other. So what I'm going to do is end this video here. And I appreciate you watching, and I'll actually make another one tomorrow because it's going to be getting dark here pretty soon. I'll make another one tomorrow with just a little view of how the ships typically are rafted up with each other, tied up together. And that one will be very, very brief. I know this was a long one. If you made it to the end, thanks for sticking with it. And if you like these kind of ship spotting videos, check out some of the other videos on my channel. I film a lot of ships coming by on the Mississippi River, and I'll have more coming up soon. So, thanks.